Hey guys, so I'm outside right now, chilling. So, did anyone know I'm atheist? um, Apparently, most of the people in the black manosphere are Christian and a bit socially conservative. I'm neither. Um, I'm not very political either, but that's a different topic, which I've approached in previous videos. But yeah, um, your boy is atheist, and it's funny that a lot of the people in the black manosphere like talking about being evidence based and stuff like that, but then still believe in fairy tales. No diss to anyone, at least not directly anyway, but um, I find it patently irrational to believe in invisible beings to somehow control everything that goes on in reality. Um, and this atheism isn't new. As long as there's been organized religion, there's been atheists. Uh, you can see it in the Bible. They were called different things like uh, disbelievers or even Epicureans, which is talking about uh, the Greek philosopher who I'm not sure if he was exactly atheist, but he rejected the pantheon of Olympian gods per se, and advocated for a lifestyle of just pleasure. So um, often when you saw that in the Bible, I think in the Old Testament, excuse me, they were referring to atheists when they were talking about Epicureans. Sometimes they just said doubters or disbelievers, but as long as there's been organized religion, there's been people who just found it patently irrational. And I mean, we have more reasons to believe that now than back then. But even back then, you had guys who's like, yeah, this is weird. Zeus turning into horses and humping other horses, and yeah, it's just yeah, it's crazy. But people ask me why, and I was like, I just don't see any reason. Like, I've been like skeptical since I was a little kid. Like, I think I've talked about this before. Like, as a kid, like I didn't believe in Santa Claus. I thought other kids were like stupid for believing in Santa Claus. I used to go find my gifts when I was old enough to do so. But even before then, I didn't have any belief in Santa, as far as I know, as far as I can remember, which goes back to like when I was 6 or 5. And then, later on, I mean, I believed in what I was taught just because I didn't know any better. But by the time I became a teenager, I was fervently deist. Deism is basically the belief that there is a God, but he doesn't manifest in the world at all. He's basically like the watchmaker who creates the watch and lets it run on its own without interference. So I kind of flirted with that idea, as well as pantheism, which is another view famous by the philosopher Baruch Spinoza, who, as far as other people were concerned, he was atheist, but he wasn't. He just believed that God and nature were one, which was complete sacrilege to his uh, Judaic roots. Um, so I flirted with those two ideas while I was in high school and up until college, where I just pretty much became atheist. Um, Due to kind of Bruce Lee, actually. There was a book by a guy who wrote about Bruce's personal beliefs and Taoist philosophy, and Bruce was an atheist, and I considered it for like a day. I was like, yeah, he's right. And by the time I was already taking like psychology and philosophy and cognitive science in general, and at the university level, uh, it became a no-brainer for me. And I wish more black people would embrace atheism, or at least just become non-religious, because the black church is toxic to me. Like, most of them are run by people in the middle to upper middle class, but their churches are in low income black communities, and that money isn't recycled back into those communities. Instead, it's it goes back into the mainstream white community. Black dollars don't circulate very very much before they go back and before they leave the black community. So that's another thing I don't like. Black churches are about as bad as the liquor stores, the bodegas. Nothing wrong with the bodegas though, and the drug dealers that help destroy lower income black communities. As far as I'm concerned, now some of them do good work, but most of them aren't. And even Martin Luther King, like 60 years ago, said that the black church was in danger of becoming irrelevant to black men, and you see that pretty much nowadays. Like, you don't see any black men in the church. You might see a sprinkle of old black men and little black boys being dragged there by their mothers, but you don't see adult black men there. Now, like I said, there are a lot of religious people in the black manosphere, but as far as I know, most of them don't go to church either, and they've said that. So it's just, they just need to make the extra step. But yeah, I, I don't I don't generally believe in things without evidence. And often people will say, well, the evidence of absence. No, I'm sorry, I said it the wrong way. A lot of people will try to say the absence of evidence isn't the evidence of the absence. Mm, that's not exactly true. The absence of evidence, once you've looked for it, and 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 still nothing, does become evidence of absence. If you've been looking for something for thousands of years, in every single way, both empirically, logically, conceptually, and you keep coming up with crickets, that's evidence of absence. And at least for most Western educated people, on some level, most of them know that these beliefs aren't real. It belies some of our behaviors, and when we mourn people who die, because we have an underlying knowledge that that person is gone forever. We don't pray for certain things because we know they can't happen. We don't pray for dear old grandma to come back because we know she's not coming back. The veteran who lost his legs in the war doesn't pray for his legs to grow back because he knows that can't happen. So on some level, we realize that these religious beliefs are false. Now, whether we can genuinely acknowledge that or not, that's a different story. But there's a case to be made for what my old philosophy professor George Ray used to call meta-atheism. But that's a different subject as well. Just here to say, I am one of those black atheists out there, among other beliefs that I hold, that I'm also, um, a naturalist or physicalist, um, and many other philosophical beliefs that I don't want to get into here because it would just be too heady. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, there's no software without the hardware. So signing out. Gonna enjoy this nice weather. All right, guys. But I'm just a contrarian.